And then ultimately what happens with diabetes too is that you carry a estrogen dominant condition. When your insulin is high and glucose is high, you become estrogen dominant. And estrogen dominance leads to cancers. And so you see a much higher risk for cancers of the breast, the uterus, the prostate, gallbladder. Gallbladder disease is another very, very common consequence of having sticky blood, and you've got, you know, the gallbladder having to work hard at trying to break down the fats in the system and excrete that. So gallstones and gallbladder disease and gallbladder cancer.
Yeah.
So the effects are very far-reaching, and you know, even without all those advanced symptoms, they say obesity alone kills 300,000 people a year.
Well, I want to get back to the medical approach because we're talking side effects. So we're not telling people, you know, to go off their medication because obviously they need something while they're trying to get healthy again. But there are, if you go the medical route, there are a lot of side effects that impact you. I mean, you're dealing with diabetes and then dealing with Lipitor and blood pressure medicine, and it seems to me like it's breaking down the body rather than building it up.
Well, let's talk about, you know, what's the cause here, right? So let's say somebody's used to having cereal for breakfast. And before that was a muffin and coffee. And then they're having maybe pasta for lunch, and then
we're talking about a lot of carbs here.
Yeah, and then you know, some kind of bready, other delightful comfort food
in the afternoon.
For dinner.
Yeah, or afternoon.
Right. Oh, and candy in between for snacks. So what you're doing right there is you're raising your blood sugar, you're raising your insulin to meet the demand of that blood sugar. The insulin is the hormone that is secreted by your pancreas to tell your body, store. Put that glucose or fat or whatever away in cells for later. Store it. Right?
Yeah. So carbs make fat. Fat doesn't make fat. Carbs are the culprit.
Insulin makes fat. Talking about the cause and how do you treat, when I tell you it's 100% treatable, let me get back to that part, okay?
That's good.
So let's say somebody's into cereal, pasta, bread as a primary mainstay in their diet, right? You're raising your blood sugar, you're raising your insulin. So a naturopath would say, we've got to get you eating some things that are going to not raise your blood sugar so much and to not raise your insulin so much. And then you'll be in the normal blood sugar zone, right? Now, if someone didn't say that and said, okay, here's some insulin, here's some Lipitor, will it lower your blood sugar? Yes. Will it lower your cholesterol? Yes. But you're still going to develop metabolic syndrome because down the road you're still going to get fat. Okay, I mean, if you're going to do those things, you're still going to put on weight. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, what I mean is, it doesn't stop the disease progression because you took away the insulin and the blood sugar danger zone. It doesn't stop the problem. And it keeps it going, and all those medicines have side effects, and they require more medicines, because pretty soon you'll need diuretics for the blood pressure, and it just goes on from there.
Doesn't the body get confused?
Sure it does. And eventually, you know, you're developing asthma, or, you know, it just goes from there to deeper and more widely progressed.
Yeah, we were going to ask you other chronic conditions, but I mean, did you name just about all of them, or any other chronic conditions?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Can thin people get diabetes, though?
They can. They can. Now, remember, there's two kinds of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is a genetically acquired or it could be like a viral onset condition where an autoimmune condition is present, then the body is attacking the insulin-producing cells of its own pancreas, and then they've got type 1, okay?
Could that happen
They
at
have
any
to
age?
have insulin.
Could that happen to you at any age?
It can happen at any age. It used to happen just for children. We're seeing it more and more now as the body has gotten confused, and we're seeing more and more autoimmune. Type 1 is happening later. But you can be thin and have type 1, and you can be thin and develop type 2 as well. We all have genetic information we're carrying, and you know that if you're thinner and you're developing signs like, you know, excessive thirst and excessive urination, You want to, and if you have a family history, you should get it checked, because if you have it in your family history, your risk of developing it is huge, especially if you ate the way they did. You know,
And usually that's traditional.
Yeah, that's what I think about when they say, you know, your family history. I'm thinking a lot of things. I don't buy so much into the genetics. I buy into the nurturing, growing up in this kind of a household and eating these, because not all the time. If you see a fat wife, you're going to see a fat husband, and unfortunately, usually a fat child. You know,
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. And I think that we learn how to eat from our parents, in a way.
And our parents were not as, I guess, educated into diet or, you know, healthier foods. And it's
true.
Passed on to another generation, and I think I'm concerned about the young children today who are eating so much sugar in so many things that they're getting from school, plus they're getting it from, you know, their parents, who are basically doing the sugar too. It's pretty serious, I think.
It is. You know, it's right, Pauline. It is a matter of nurture, and it's a matter of education, because I think that when people know better, that then they're much more equipped to make better choices.
Absolutely.
And
it's all about choice right now. It really is. There's so many choices, and I read in the paper the other day that people are lobbying to get food industry to relabel some of those cereals for children, saying this is healthy, and it's not, and they're promoting it on kids shows, and kids got to have these, I won't mention names of cereals, but they have flavors and colors and animals, and they look so good, and the parents are just giving it to them without, you know, consideration for what it's going to do to their health.
No nutritional value,
No
really.
nutritional value whatsoever.
They say it's cardboard.
It's cardboard, yeah. Well, we did a show one time. Remember, we had these doctors on, and I said, the best advice I heard is, if it doesn't rot, don't eat it. I mean, because that's natural. You want to eat natural food.
Right. So the good news is that we can learn this stuff, and if we, and you know, I really kind of want to take the focus off the worry of what happens when this is around, because it's so prevalent, you know?
Yes.
That it's everywhere. And, you know, what I would really like to promote is the information about what do you have to do to avoid that?
Yes, exactly. We know it's there. We want to know what to do. Yeah, we do. Now, early detection, that's important. So how early should we be checking this, or should we just, you know, check right away to see? Like me, I look average, but I feel like I'm a little overweight. Should I be checking my blood sugar level, or is there something that tells me that I'm...
Your blood sugar level is usually checked on a regular chemistry screen. That should be done yearly at your regular physical. It's a fasting test, and it will tell you if you're under 100. You should be well under 100. You know, for years, naturopaths start treating people at 90, because you don't want to be normal in a culture where everyone's developing diabetes, right? So you want it to be 90 or below if you can help it. But point being, definitely under 100. And here's the thing, is that there was a study done that 2/3 of the people that have normal fasting blood glucose, 2/3 of them have high insulin.
How, could you explain that?
So
what does that mean?
What I'm saying is diabetes does not develop overnight. That you can have high insulin for a very long time, for years.
Before it kicks in.
Before it actually turns into...
I understand. I didn't understand at first. I get it.
Right. And so you might have a normal fasting glucose, but you should also have your hemoglobin A1C checked, which is the marker that they track how well the diabetic treatment is going, right?
Right.
So we can, but you know, it's very treatable, and if you treat it soon enough, you never even have to go on insulin.